Hello, and welcome to another episode of Genie, the podcast. I'm your host, Christian. As you know, this is a podcast dedicated to Christina Aguilera, her artistry, the music, and of course, other fighters. Today, we have a really fun episode. I'm going to interview Cory. He is a longtime fan, extensive catalogs, collections of memorabilia and merchandise that I've ever seen, and I'm sure he's like a wealth of information. We met on Instagram, so this is the first time for us meeting, so we're going to get to know him really well and ask all the questions about what his favorites are. So let's get into it. So as I mentioned in the intro, you have a huge collection of Christina
Mhm.
memorabilia and merch,
I do, yes. I think
and yet you're
probably
sitting
one
in
of the
this white
largest
kitchen.
collections. I know. Yeah, well, it's all like stored away. So, like for 90% of the year, like all of that stuff is like in a storage unit, packed away. It's air conditioned, it's packed away very
Oh, good.
nicely. So, it's protected. But yeah, I have a very large collection. I would say probably don't know, like maybe 20,000 like individual pieces at least.
Dang.
A lot. Yeah. So a lot of like merchandise, promotional things, CDs, I mean, you name it. Like I've got it.
So she has a lot of disposable income.
She does. Yeah, very blessed. And, I'm very happy with where I'm at. In fact, it's been kind of like, I know that a lot of the references that you have is like from the piece I did with like MTV, but, my
Yeah.
priorities have really changed a lot since then. I'm very career focused right now. I've got an amazing job, which allows me to do it. In fact, I just ordered that expensive French magazine that she did, and it just came in the mail a
Is
couple
that
of days
Carsey?
ago.
Carsey?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even know what it's called because I can't pronounce it, but it's
Yeah.
beautiful, and she looks amazing, very high fashion. Like it's editorial. It's amazing. Yeah, so
So was it imported?
it was. Yeah, it was
Oh,
expensive. In fact, the shipping was more than the magazine itself. It
oh my
was like
gosh.
yeah, it was like $30 in shipping. So
Jeez.
and also like the magazine isn't even bound together.
No?
No, it's like so like I wish I knew exactly where I put it so I could show you. But like the pages are just like strung together with like one string.
Oh,
And like they're
weird.
just kind of yeah, it's like not even like bound. Like I don't think that that's like sits on anyone's like magazine shelf in any like shop. It's very like yeah, so that I knew it was like really expensive. And the cover of it as well is like almost like a laminated plastic. So it
Oh,
almost looks like a lookbook. Like what you would think that they would like submit before they like print out a magazine. It's
yeah.
almost like that. And I almost thought that they sent me that. I was like, did they send me the wrong thing?
Crazy.
But
I've
yeah,
only ever seen one
it's
person with the actual physical copy. Otherwise, I thought it was just like a digital.
yeah, no, I ordered it. I follow a lot of like the other like fan sites, so I get to those links and I have to like use like Google Translate to like navigate them and check out. And then they'll like spit some number out. It will be like 50 dot dot cc something and I have no idea what that converts to in US money, but I don't really care. I'm just like click buy, send it. Like I need it. So sometimes I'll spend like $75 on like a magazine. I'll be like, maybe not tell my husband about that
Oh
one.
my gosh. So besides your like following on Instagram, you were mentioned by Mackenzie, which y'all knew each other
Yes.
for quite a time, like a long time, right?
Yeah, I absolutely love Mackenzie. I've went to, gosh, probably like 5 or 6 Christina concerts with him. I met him back when Christina was doing the first season of The Voice. They did some like stupid Facebook, like, which by the way, like I hated watching that show. I only watched it from her.
Me
It
too.
just was like when she left the show, I was like, thank God I don't have to watch that religiously because I was like so concerned about her ratings. I would go to like my office when
Mhm.
it aired and like turn every single TV like in the break rooms to The Voice to like boost the ratings when Christina was on. There was all these things about like, is the show gonna tank? And like I used to just like try to beef up those. I would tell everybody like make sure you watch The Voice. But yeah, so
Oh, I
when
do
she was
remember actually, because that first day, I think they were premiering the same night, I think, or the week as American Idol, right?
yeah, actually it was X Factor with
Oh,
like
yes, you're
Britney
right. Because
Spears and
Brittany.
Demi Lovato. So
Yeah.
there was like that like rivalry thing too. But yeah, so for me like I don't know, I was just like, anything Christina does, like I'm here to support it 100%. And so I met Mackenzie through like a Facebook game. It was almost like fantasy football but like with voice contestants. And like we met through there, then we like linked up as friends and he came to a couple he lives in Canada and so he like flew into Arizona. We seen the Liberation tour together. We did the experience together like I think 2 nights. And then most recently we went to the Voltaire show together in Vegas. So like we and he sat like in the table across. Christina touched my face that night. So it was
Oh
like
my
an amazing
gosh.
night. Yeah, and just so like a lot of these like amazing. Oh, we met Christina together. So like a lot of these like amazing like Christina memories that I have. He's been a part of them, even though he lives in a completely different country. So yeah, he's just amazing. I can't say amazing things about him. And
Oh
Rihanna
yeah, he
too.
said
That's
great
cool
things
too.
about you too.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen her?
I've seen Christina. I've seen every single show that she's done. So one of
Oh,
my
wow.
very first concerts, I seen Christina here in Arizona back in the year 2000. I think it was like October. I still have my ticket in her
Mhm.
tour book. I like taped it in there when I was like a kid. And like Destiny's Child opened for her. So I've seen
Wow.
that show. I've seen the Stripped show, which
Mhm.
opened here in Arizona, June 4th, 2003. I remember it. It was the first day, Justified Strip Tour. And so like I saw that one. I saw Back to Basics. I had tickets for Bionic, but that was canceled.
Oh, right.
Um, I've seen her. I did both of the LA shows when she came back from like the COVID thing, and she did the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did both nights there. I seen the Liberation Tour twice. I saw the Experience twice. I did Voltaire once. I would say I probably have seen her probably like 13, 14 times live.
Oh
So a
my
lot.
gosh.
I love her. I will travel for to see her. But yeah,
What was
met
the
her
farthest
twice.
place?
Furthest place that I've seen her, well, the good thing about Arizona is that you don't really have to travel very far. We're kind of wedged between Las Vegas
Yeah.
and California. So, I'm like 3 hours away from like LA. So 3 or 4 hours away from LA. So like normally when I travel, I'll go to either one of those cities. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
not very far. Yeah, but I would go see her in like New York or something. But I've been lucky enough to be like near those
Close to.
metropolitan cities that they always go to. It's one of the
Damn.
reasons I stay here.
So we're talking about your massive collection that
Hmm.
sits in a storage.
Yeah.
Why do you collect all of it? But then it's in storage.
Yeah. So that's, at one point, like I used to have it displayed.
Mhm.
Like my husband and I were like huge, like physical media people too. Like we love movies, we love music, we love memorabilia. So we have like a room that's like dedicated to that stuff. And the short of it is really my collection is so large that I really don't have the space to display it in the way that it should be displayed. And I'm a kind of like all in it type of a person. So like I'm not gonna showcase just like a little bit of it. If I'm gonna display it, I'm gonna display it. And so I just feel like I don't really have the proper space to do it. So I just kind of keep it away. I've thought about like over like recent years like selling it or kind of like just decluttering just like different seasons of my life, like different priorities have like come into it. But I think, a lot of those things are like tied. I have like such a responsibility, like want to preserve that part of it, Christina's career that is almost erased from the people who didn't experience it. You've got these new people that are like coming in and they're experiencing like Sabrina Carpenter and Tate McRae and Billie Eilish and Dua Lipa and all these like new girls that come up that don't really have that pandemonium stardom that like Christina and Britney had. And
Oh, yeah.
unless you experienced it and you were a kid and you got to see it, a lot of people kind of forget that. And I've noticed they do it with Christina a lot, probably more than any other pop star. But I've seen them do it to like Madonna. I've seen them do it to Mariah Carey. I've seen them do it to Janet Jackson, where they kind of erase a little bit of their shine because in recent years they're not as like commercially successful with their projects that are put out. And so there's a part of me that kind of feels like I owe it to my love of Christina Aguilera to preserve that part of time and part of her career. And I love like bringing stuff out and people being like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know that that existed." You know what I mean? And like I'll pull out like she had like a whole shoe line. Like I'll pull out like a pair of like shoes from like 2000 that like she had
It
that I've
wasn't the
like
Skechers, right?
no, not the Skechers. She actually had
Was
a
it the
Christina
Brazilian?
Aguilera line. No, it was like not by like any major brand. It wasn't
What?
a collaboration. Yeah, this was just like shoes that her marketing team put out, and they're just like little like tennis shoes, and they had like little genies on them, or they'll have like the little Christina logo, the little circle and the other circle. Yeah, so just like right now, like that, like you had no idea that those existed, and neither did I
Yeah.
until I found them. So yeah, like just to like own like a piece of that and like be able to preserve that to me, I don't know, there's something that's just important to me about that. And Christina Aguilera has a community, obviously. We
Yeah.
have a culture, the fighter culture. And, I love your podcast because it really allows people to get
Thank
on
you.
and talk about that, right? And so I kind of would think about like, what is my space like in this community? I'm not somebody who has a lot of time to dedicate to running like a fan site like probably like I would want to, or running a podcast like you do. So I kind of think like, what do I own? And so that's kind of my little piece of the community, is like that, like almost like a museum of like Christina memorabilia. And it's not just like stuff she's like merchandise. Like if I find like a promotional poster or like a standee or like something, like I'll grab it and like I'll archive it. And so that's kind of what I do. Yeah, it's my thing. People
Oh my
think it's
gosh.
weird, but yeah, it's very important to me.
No, it is. It kind of reminded me because I don't remember what article. For some reason, I'm getting like Blender. Do you remember that
Yes.
magazine? I love that
Hmm.
magazine. I was so
I
sad that it
love it too.
went away.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, like in retrospect, was it misogynistic and like
oh yeah.
objectifying women? 100%. But
Yes.
like also the women who, were featured in it used that part of it to really kind of boost their brand and
Yeah.
change, Christina, with that Maxim Blender, they were sister magazines. Blender was like the music focused part of Maxim. Christina used that to distance herself from Jessica Simpson, Britney Spears, and many more in those early years where she really wanted to be taken serious, like as an artist. She
Yeah.
used that imagery to like separate herself. Like, I'm not a virgin. Like, I'm not like cookie cutter. I'm not all American. Like, I'm that girl. So, yeah, I do too. That's one of my favorite magazines. And she kind of came back a few years later. Like, I think it was like around 2013, and it was one of like last year's that Maxim was in print. She kind of was like taking a break from The Voice, and she was like in
Mhm.
between music projects, and she did like that really like sexy, like I want to say it was like in
Oh, was
Mexico
that Let There Be
somewhere.
Love?
Yes, like around that era when she started, like I don't know, I just like when she went back and did that, I was just like, yes, like I love it. I
Isn't it? That
love
was around
those
like
early things.
Lotus because
Yeah,
like that was whenever
it
she
was like
shot the
shortly after.
iPhone
Yeah, yeah,
iPhone
yeah.
video. Oh my gosh.
Yes, yeah, yes, yes. I think there are like clips in that magazine. I mean, in that like music video, like montage that they put together that was from that shoot. So yeah,
Yes.
very
Yeah.
that. And she had kind of like, I don't want to say that she got her body back because Christina's beautiful at like any size, any shape.
Yes.
But
She did.
you
She does
could
kind
kind
of
of tell,
yo-yo.
yeah, she does yo-yo. Oh,
But me
100%.
too.
And I love that about her. Don't we all? Yeah, but she was kind of like feeling herself again.
Yes.
And it came out in that magazine. It was just kind of a celebration of like how beautiful she was. And she looked
Yes.
gorgeous. So yeah.
But also to counteract that, I remember like I think it was like a Women or Self magazine. I forget where she was wearing like a blue jumpsuit. Her hair was a little bit down and disheveled,
Yeah.
and she was telling
Yes.
everybody she did it with yoga. I was like, "Girl, I do yoga too."
Yeah, sweetie. Like I wish I could like get on the floor and stretch and then like my body looked that amazing. But
Yeah,
it
right.
just doesn't work for me like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she also like has enough money where she can pay a private chef to make a zucchini
Yes.
taste like a pepperoni pizza. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, I just don't have that
Totally.
luxury.
But something you were saying about like your collection and the museum, it reminds me of something that like I had heard about Beyonce is that she has her own kind of like her personal archive and then like her
Yeah.
own library of how she, keeps every piece of media that she's in or everything. I
Yeah.
think, well, it would be important also for every artist to do that, but you kind of have that for her as
Yeah,
far
I
as
kind
like
of do.
physical media.
And I don't know why this like stands out to me, but Christina actually mentioned that herself. Like I don't know, like it's probably not as extreme as mine, but she kind of said that like somebody asked her on Twitter, they were asking her about like I think it was around like when the 20th anniversary of her debut album came out, and I don't know why I remember this, and it probably resonates with me so much because I am a collector of her. But she was like, yeah, she's like, I archived a lot of like the merchandise that I have. Someone like posted like photos of like the dolls. It was like kind of like a smaller part of like their collection, and she
Okay.
reposted it and was like, I actually keep some of this stuff too. She's like, but it's great to see
Oh,
it. So yeah, I so like to me, like I would be dying to see what she has.
well, yeah.
The thing that I love about Christina, and she actually featured it recently. She posted a photo of herself like within her house, and
This is
she's
a
got
come on
these like
over
no, she has like these like Russian nesting dolls
with the
that like a
bionic and
fan.
each.
Yeah, yeah, a fan like
Yes.
made them, and I remember like her posting it, and like she had just like posted a photo recently, and like behind her in the shelf, those nesting dolls are still there, and I just thought like, how amazing is it for whatever fan was creative enough. I mean, was creative enough to like come up with that, to like have that on
Yes.
display in her home still to this day. And so, like, I think about that stuff, and I know she appreciates it. So, I don't know. In my mind, I'm hoping that like Christina like got to see like some part of like what I've done. Like, and I was hoping that that MTV thing would really have done it, but I don't think she's seen it. But it's okay.
Oh, it's probably because she hates MTV.
Probably. Yeah. Her mom certainly does. I remember
Oh, really?
she did like a TV show. Yeah, she did a TV show and she was talking about the release of Dirty and how they made her like edit it, and they refused to play it during the daytime. They
Mhm.
were reserved like Dirty to only play like
Oh,
at like 10
after
p.m. or
hours.
something.
Yeah.
And she talked about how like Shelly like had written MTV and was like, "How dare you like do this to her?" Well, there are singers out there, and I think the reference was, I want to say it was 112,
Mhm.
Peaches and Cream,
Oh,
where it was
yes.
like girls eating like the peaches and like riding the mechanical bull, and she was like, "They're doing the same thing," and she's like, she's mentioned like something like one of the girls in the video just like had like little like things covering like pasties covering her nipples, and like how just unfair it was to like pigeonhole her because she was marketed to a certain audience. So yeah, I
Yes.
know her
Yeah.
mom was like, came out full force for her in that sense. But yeah,
Oh, we
you
love a
know,
supportive mother.
we always do. Yeah, I
Yes.
love Miss Shelley to death. She's amazing.
Yes. And it's kind of fun. Like, I haven't heard anything, because she stays, they're not doing like behind the scenes or whatever anymore. But in the beginning, they were like interviewing her like all the time. But
Yeah.
somebody told me recently that she has lupus. And I was like, how'd you even find this out?
Like, yeah, like how would you? I know, like
Like, I'm sure
we have.
that's against HIPAA.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I know there's people who like know all this stuff. They like know stuff about like Rachel and like her sister and
Yeah.
like Max, and they'll find out stuff about Mikey. There's like a fan page for like Mikey,
Oh my
and they've
gosh.
got like pictures of him now that he's like older. And my only recollect of like her little brother was like when she did
The
like
pirate.
the pirate like party, right? Like
Yeah.
during the diaries of like when Strip Air was out. So I was
Yeah.
like, and then like I think he was there when she got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and he looked
Oh,
considerably older.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But like,
Yes.
yeah, there's people who like have like dug him up and like know all this stuff about him, and I'm like, oh my god, it's a little bit much for me. But um, yeah, I always loved Shelley though. I thought she was always just kind of, I think, really supportive of Christina. There's that like one like scene where she's doing she's like rehearsing for the Pussycat Doll Lounge,
Oh,
and like her
yes.
stepdad and her mom are like watching her, and she's like grasping like a pole and like shimmering, and like she's wearing like she's
Just a bra and
a
panties. Yes.
bustier
Yeah.
in front of her mom, and her mom's just like up there like clapping. I love it.
And
It
the
just,
stepdad is like
yeah, her
dying
stepdad
to
just
like,
like, yeah, yeah, but her mom's like there in like full support, and it's just we're lucky to like stan a queen that like has that support, because we know that other celebrities necessarily had that, and yeah, it shows.
yes.
So that's the one thing that like I've always, me being a collector of Christina, there's always been like a desire of me to like want her to want to be commercially successful, and it was like always like a struggle with me. You know what I mean? I know that that's not
Yes. A lot
important
of
to
fighters,
Christina.
actually.
I know, and I know that that's not important to her. And believe it or not, like I want Christina to do like her stuff on her own terms, because I
Yes.
want her to be happy with what she does, so she doesn't get like burned out and like want to like not do music anymore. But like I will say like there's like a struggle for me that I'm just like, you need to like get like a radio hit. You need to like kind of give into that sometimes, just because like being commercially successful will open doors that won't open if she doesn't, you know, I don't want to say conform, but like she doesn't like play into that. Like she'll never be offered the halftime show. She'll never be like, you know what I mean? If she doesn't like find some type of niche to like resonate that's current. And so
Right.
like that's so important. And obviously somebody who likes to collect her stuff, she won't get merchandising deals and stuff like that unless, or like, she
Unless her star is
can,
like bigger and can pull that
yeah.
draw, and like there's less incentive for people to like make that product for her.
Yeah, or like
Yes.
want them to like represent their brand. It's just it is what it is, and she's such a beautiful artistic person, and she's so true to herself that she has no problem saying no to stuff. Yeah, sometimes like as a fan, I want a little bit more from that side of her, and I kind of wish that
Mhm.
she played into that part of it a little bit more, but We'll see. I hear she's in the studio. She's working, so I'm excited to see what she's gonna create for us.
Yeah, I think so. You mentioned this a little bit about the Super Bowl like halftime show. I
Hmm.
felt at some point you could I felt it, or like I'm sure we all felt it. Like the drive was there. She was picking up. She was doing all these like little shows, but also the management for the halftime show was Rock Nation and Jay
Yeah.
Z, and she's signed to them. So it was like maybe they were like prepping her, kind of like warming up the stove for her to have her comeback, but also get her prepared for that big stage. Because she even did that like Super Bowl like party that was like before the Super Bowl. Remember?
It was here in Arizona.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Arizona hosted the yeah, and she
So
like was in that like amazing like she had like
padding, whatever.
the yeah like the I don't know I don't
Yeah.
do football so but yeah she had like the outfit on and she looked so effing good. Yeah, I totally know what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely thought
So
she was like courting because that was like for the higher ups. There was like a
yes.
private party for like people who were like involved in like the decisions of the Super Bowl. So yeah, I thought the same thing. Like I was like, oh, they're gearing
Yes.
her up for something.
But also, like, not just that, I felt like maybe she was like, because she does want to do things on her own terms, but maybe she wants to also, like, you can do things on your own terms, but also maybe like crave that like commercial hit or whatever. And
Yeah,
then, she had, the 20th anniversary, she had Voltaire. And then after that, she's like, okay, I'm going to go hibernate. And I feel like that momentum is kind of like gone.
yeah,
So, which is,
yeah.
fine. That's what she wants. But unless like
Yeah,
the
but
song, does big on like a TikTok or, whatever, she's not going to have that commercial kind of hit,
yeah,
I think.
yeah, and I'm a little bit worried. I mean, I know there's like this like big push from like fans for years, which I never signed on to, where they were like wanted her to distance herself from RCA. But
Oh,
like
okay.
maybe it's just because like I'm very corporate, like in my own career, and like I kind of
Mhm.
understand like strategic like planning of like business. It's a problem for me when my product is telling me that they don't care about success.
Yes.
And that was what Christina was saying. I don't care about the sales. I don't care about this. The fact of the matter is you're on a record label, right? And like their business is selling records. So when you say that you don't care about that, it's kind of in conflict with what the record label wants. So they're not going to put a lot of money into it. If you
Right.
don't care, why would I care? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like I do think that like I don't know, and I used to think that like maybe Christina like put statements like that out there because she was like trying to protect like herself from like rejection. Like if this project
Oh,
doesn't do
yeah.
well, then like I've already put a statement out there that I don't care about the success of it and therefore like I don't get hurt by it. But like
Hmm.
I feel like she's a very smart businesswoman. She's got all of these different brands. She does like the playground, she had her fragrance line. I know she like sold it off. I don't know like how connected she is to that, but she's got all of these like different brands. She's a very smart businesswoman. She knows that it's a business, that it's geared to success, and that she has to sell. And so I don't know, like I just kind of feel like sometimes it's like a way of like protecting herself from like feeling the rejection, like if it doesn't do well, but also like you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like I just, and maybe I'm just like PTSD from like Liberation, but like when she put out like Accelerate, I was like, where is this gonna go? I didn't think it
Yes.
was radio friendly.
It's
I
not.
was like, I woke up, I'm in Arizona, so like on West Coast time, and I like set a timer for myself because she was gonna like launch it like right at like midnight or something. And so
Hmm.
like I woke up like in the middle of the night to like hear it, and it was so not what I thought it was gonna be. Like I like
Right.
literally like cried like in depression. I was like, this is so terrible. I hated the song. I hated like Two Chains and like the
High dollar sign.
yeah,
Choppy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ty Dolla Sign like singing like horribly like over Christina's beautiful vocals, and I was just like, what is she doing? And then yeah, man, I was just like, I don't know like where she's gonna market this to. I don't know who is like
And then
gonna like live for this. I don't know
no, to
like
piggyback off of that also, because, she was so excited because she's been a longtime fan of Kanye. And so she
yeah.
was able
Oh
to
my
get into
gosh, and he
and
like
he had
went through that
just
whole
gotten
thing.
onto that rampage. So then she
It was a
quickly, like her
train
team,
wreck.
yes, her team had to like separate it. It's like it wasn't really done by Kanye, but more so the Kanye overseeing with a team and we never
Yeah.
met or something. I don't know. I was like, oh
It's what
shit.
happens when you like develop content, which Christina does. She takes a long time to record an album. She may
Yeah.
have recorded that song like 2 or 3 years before, but then he started getting like all crazy and like yeah, that was like I remember that too, being like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, like they're not even gonna want to mention that he like was
No.
involved because he is like it has this thing with Kim Kardashian going on, and he's like, running for a president.
Yes.
Anything that like kind of like went wrong. And I thought the same thing. I will say though, I absolutely love Accelerate Live. Like I've grown to love the song,
Okay.
obviously, but it took me a long time. Like it's such a vibe when she does it live. It just feels good in the audience. Like when you're like, it just kind of has like that like flow to it. Like that ratchet caviar thing. Remember like one
Oh my
of,
gosh.
I think it was, do you remember
Yes, it
that?
was like,
Like they used that to like,
yes, to
yeah, it
describe what
feels
was
that.
coming. And I was like, oh, I love that
Yeah, yeah,
phrase.
yeah. I know. I was
That's
like,
that's
ratchet caviar. I
that's
was
what I want to
like,
live
it
by.
does
It's like
feel like
ratchet
that.
caviar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
It's just it's not
yeah, no,
it I feel like it wasn't hard enough for, like, hip hop, like, radio, but it
really
definitely wasn't
wasn't.
pop, and so,
Yeah,
like,
it
that's
wasn't.
what she needs to realize is, like, she can, you know, do her artistry, but there also has to be a market and how she
For it.
presents
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
she presents it. I just didn't think it was like gonna I will say though, like I committed a sin and listened to the leaked demo of Fall in Line
Oh,
before
me
like
too.
it was
I have it.
released, and I like blasted it in my car. Okay. I heard the song and I was driving home. This sounds so dramatic, but like I was driving home, and this was like before Demi Lovato's vocals were added to the track, so it was just Christina singing the whole thing through. I literally had to pull off to like the side of the road, like the first time listening to it, and like clear like my eyes of like the tears because like the lyrics were so beautiful and like they were so meaningful, and I just thought that that was such a beautiful song that like I don't know, there was something about like the Me Too movement was like so relevant at the moment. These women were coming out about Harvey Weinstein and like these nasty things that he had done to them. And, like there was just something so important. I don't know, for me to like hear her say, like, no one told me, that you don't owe these men anything. And it also came out like at a time when I was turning 30, like 2018, I was turning 30. And I was dealing with like some stuff too, like where I was like, oh my God, there's a three in front of my age. And I was like, what do I need pulled? Like, and I was kind of like, I was having like kind of like a mid, not midlife crisis, but like it kind of, the first time in my life, I didn't feel young. I didn't feel like the youngest guy in the room. When she gets to the chorus and she's like talking about that, like, all the youth in the world will
Yeah.
never save you from getting older. I don't know. There was
Right.
something that felt good about like having like a shoulder to be like, it's okay. Like we're gonna age all together. It's gonna be fabulous. And I don't know. It just like spoke to me, and I thought it was such a great song. It deserved so much more than what it got. But I think
Yes.
it goes back to like Christina trusting her own instinct and not really listening to like what's hot. The fact of the matter is, ballads don't do well on the radio. They don't. I can't think of the last time that like a ballad
Like,
did a
even
number
Adele,
one.
like, it's
Yeah,
been
even
forever.
Adele. Like I know Adele will have like a hit. That first single that comes out that on her album will do super well, and then all of the things that come out after it doesn't go anywhere. And like we live in a time where songs are 2 minutes long now.
Yes. No bridges, apparently.
Interludes don't exist. You know what I mean? It's storytelling and music just doesn't exist. And I love that Christina preserves that. It's an art that's dead.
Oh, I guess we should
It's
say
lost.
it's like it's not within the mainstream
Yeah,
because, of
it's not
course,
within the
there's all this great
mainstream.
music. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
As a pop.
and Christina does amazing stuff. There's not a lot of stuff about Christina's career that I would like really ever like change, like just from I love her point of view.
Mhm.
There's things that she does in her career that I'm like, oh, I freaking hate that she's doing this. But then
Yeah.
like over time, I'm like, I look back and I'm like, she was so smart. I hated that she did Back to Basics. I hated
Really?
that she was, yeah, I hated that she was 20 years old and was like painting herself like so demure and like kind of older. And I was
Yeah.
like, she's wasting her youth on this. Like, she can do this in her 40s. Like, I just, like, at the time, I wanted Strip 2.0. Like, I wanted her to, like, get out there and, like, have some, like, club banger and, like, do the things that I saw Britney doing. She was, like, on the back of, like, a bike with, like, Tyson Beckford, like, and, like, she was like Brittany was like doing like all this like club stuff, and I kind of thought like, oh, I wish Christina did that because that's like what I'm in my
Yeah.
teens now, and like I want to see that, and you know, but looking back now, it was such a good choice. It was so iconic, and it was so. I mean, she gave us moments that would not be afforded to her had she done like a commercially successful like type of an album. It was
Right.
very avant-garde, you know. The
The
girls
whole
were zigging,
concept.
she was zagging.
Yes.
Yeah, like Beyonce
Yeah.
had like an amazing come out that year, which was very like kind of club. She had like Baby Boy and like, you know, Crazy in
Oh yeah.
Love, like those amazing things that was going on for her. She was like twerking and like doing all those things that I wanted Christina to do. But it gave Christina like a piece of the pie that wasn't filled. And I feel like if she
Right.
just had done like what Beyonce was doing, what Britney Spears was doing, that she would have just kind of been lost in the sauce and it would have just been like a moment. And this really was an era. It was a really
Totally.
full thought out era. And yeah, absolutely mastermind. I didn't agree with it at the time. I just kind of wanted her to like save that sound for later on in her career when, you know, she was a little bit older. I thought, oh, it would have been great for her to release like a jazz album, you know, but
Oh, she should totally do a jazz
yeah.
album.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. She
Like
should
even now.
totally do it. She could do anything. Like
Yes.
Christina could do anything, and I would be. I mean, she showed us like through the different like genres. Like she's exposed me to so many other artists. I wouldn't
Oh
have an
yeah.
appreciation for Etta James like I do, or Aretha Franklin. You know, she's introduced me to like Tony Bennett. You know, she kicked down the door for like some of these like old bluesy things, which I would have never explored if it wasn't for
Right.
Christina. She's so smart, you know, and she could do anything. That's the one thing that Christina has over, I think, any girl in the game is
Hmm.
she's so versatile. And, you know, there's certain sides of her that I love to see more. I'm partial
Yes.
to her R&B side.
Oh, totally.
You know, I love that. And I kind of wish that she did that. Like, give us a pop R&B album. Like, let's do
That's what
that.
I've been
Like,
telling everybody. So what is the most prized, but not like most valuable to you, like sentimental in your collection?
so I would say like my most prized possession, I actually didn't own it at the time that I filmed with MTV, so it's not featured in it, but I
Hmm.
actually have an actual AAR, I believe it says, a certified, I think 5 times platinum plaque
Oh,
from Christina Aguilera's first album. And it's heavy as hell. It's like probably weighs like 50 pounds. I have not been like, I'm going to have to get it like professionally installed on the wall in order to like showcase it
dang.
like I want to. But yeah, it is heavy. It was presented to a guy, I think his name was like Samuel Kuji. And
Hmm.
I didn't, so like when I was doing research on it, because it was quite expensive, when I was doing research on it, I looked the guy up just to see like if it was like actual, and his LinkedIn came up. And so like I clicked on his LinkedIn and I was like kind of looking through like anything that would have shown that he had worked on her project. And sure enough, he did like promotional stuff with Christina. And so I was kind of slightly like, I didn't want to reach out to him and like ask him about it because I was slightly concerned that like possibly like maybe if someone had broken into his home and like stole
Oh,
it or something, because I was like, why would he part with this? So I never reached out to him about it. I'm slightly like scared too, but yeah, it's legit and it was expensive, and it's probably my most prized possession just because it's expensive and it's very unique. You know, the
yeah.
only people who have the ability to order those are people who had worked intimately with the project. Yeah, so it's kind of
Wow.
special. Yeah.
That is special. What
Yeah.
would you say? Is that the most expensive?
That was expensive. The other thing is, early on in the strip promotion days, Christina did a radio contest where she did a private concert for radio show winners at the Atlantis Resort in the Caribbean. And at that event, they handed out like promotional items, and one of the things that they handed out was like a DVD which had like all of the promotional stuff she did with MTV. So like it has like the stripped live in New York City, like little concert thing that she did with Carson Daly, and then it had her like making the video of Dirty, and then it has also her diaries of the stripped era, like all on that DVD, and then there's like a little like greeting thing from her as well. And so I got that. I purchased that off of somebody on eBay, and it was funny because like the guy, he owned like a little mom and pop shop record store, and in New York City, he didn't realize what he had. And I kind of shot myself in the foot because he had put it up for auction, and I messaged him and I was like, "Is there any way that I can just purchase this off of you like right now?" And he's like, "How much do you want for it?" And I was like, "I'll give you like 350, like $350." And he was like, "For this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll buy it right now." And he's like, "Let me research it." So like he researched it and then he came back and like countered at like 400. So like I purchased it from him, obviously. I have it. But then like he like messaged me. He was like, "I thought this was just like the dirty single because it looks like the dirty single."
Yeah.
So yeah, so I kind of shot myself in the foot by exposing my hand
So really,
And I
if you
learned a
had just said
lesson.
like, "Oh, I'll give you $20," you'd be like, "Okay." Damn
Probably.
it.
He probably would have thought he was getting a deal because in comparison, you can buy that dirty single for like $5, you know. So getting
Crazy.
20 for like the dirty single would have been, yeah. So learned a valuable lesson.
My
But
gosh.
yeah.
You told me that there was a little bit of drama within the recording of your episode.
Yeah. So several dramas. So, okay, the MTV experience really began with, and I want to say it was Mackenzie, but I don't know 100% if it was him or not. Somebody
Okay.
sent me a link. MTV has like a casting like site on Twitter where they like throw out like descriptions of like shows that are like in pre-production. And so a show came up and initially what they were looking for was like fan wars. So like basically what it would be is they would find two fans of the same singer and then those people would compete showing off like their Christina knowledge and then their collections to like be named like the top fan, whatever. And like I think Mackenzie, if it wasn't Mackenzie, it was some I can't remember exactly who it was. I want to say it's Mackenzie, but the person reached out and was like, "I know you have a huge collection. You should do this." So I approached them about it, and I didn't expect to get a response back, but like the casting director like reached out right away and was like, "We're really interested in setting up a Skype meeting with you. Like, are you still interested?" And I said yes. And he goes, "Okay." So he set up a meeting, and I get on, and it's like 10 people in this Zoom meeting. I thought it was just going to be me and this other person. It's like 10 people there. And there are like people who are from like location scouts. There are people who like do kind of like the design work. There's camera people in it. And they're all kind of like having this meeting and like talking amongst themselves. And like I join it. And then they're like, "Okay, show us your collection." I had like laid out a few things and I was like showing them. I just thought that they wanted like a really brief overview and like, no, we want to see it all. So I was
Oh,
like,
dang.
oh my God, like you have no idea. I was like, I'm not kidding you. Like it's huge. So I go to my garage and I have like 24 of these like huge, like industrial size storage bins. And I'm like, this is it all. I was like, they're like magazines. And so like I opened them and was going through like the pieces and stuff. And you're like, oh, they're like, we're really super interested. There's another Christina Aguilera fan that we're going to, there's another person from Christina that like tried out for it. And I kind of know who the guy is. I'm not connected with him at all, but I've seen like him specifically because like they mentioned that like that fan does drag and like does Christina Aguilera in drag and they like kind of curate all of these like Christina costumes and stuff that are like super like glamorous and I was like, oh my gosh, like but I knew exactly who it was. So I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, I know who my competition is. Anyways, so COVID happens. And then like MTV like contacts me. They set up like a shoot day and then canceled it because of COVID. And they're like, well, we have to kind of figure out with like the new COVID like guidelines, like how this is all going to work. We're thinking about flying you out to New York City with your collection. We're going to do this like whole thing where you're like be in a studio and blah, blah, blah. And then like weeks go by and I don't hear anything. Then MTV reaches out again. They're like, well, we're shifting the format of the show. Instead of it being, and I don't know what happened with the other Christina fan, but like either that person dropped out or they didn't like what you were showcasing. I don't know the details, but they're like, we only have one Christina fan. And he's like, but we have three Britney fans. So what we're thinking about doing is doing a Britney episode where it's like two Britneys and then a Christina and a Britney. And then I was like, I don't really want to be involved in that because I was like, I really don't want to like continue that like undertone of like Christina versus Britney. I don't want to play into that. Like Britney's a queen, she does her thing. I'm not interested in it, so I don't listen to it, and I don't really want to like be like put in a situation where I'm like competing with a Britney Spears fan for what. So I was like, I wanted to showcase like what I've got, and he's like, okay, we hear you. Uh, there's concerns about like viewership and like how much it's gonna generate. So we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll come back. So anyways, they come back and they're like, okay, we decided to move the Britney Spears all to one episode. And then you're going to be paired up with a Lady Gaga fan. And I was like, okay. And he's like, but you won't be competing. You'll just be showcasing your space. And I was like, okay, that's what I wanted. So like we kind of like landed on this. Anyways, they come in. It was a 3-day shoot. I had to do like COVID testing and stuff before they came out. They decided to fly out to Arizona. And they were really nice. The director of my episode was really sweet, is respectful. They were like feeding us lines. And so like I had to say a lot of things that are just like it's wasn't me. Like, oh, I'm the number one fan and like I could like here's why like my collection's better than anyone else's. And I don't know that to be true. And I don't care if that's true or not. Like, I just so I there was conflict with me, just kind of like things that they were like sound bites they were making me say. A lot of it they didn't use. But when they were here, we're in like tight corners, right? Because like I don't normally have my collection displayed. I like set that stuff up. I started setting up like 2 weeks before the shoot. So like it took over like 75% of my home. And like the way that it's displayed, they wanted it to look as natural as possible, but it is impossible for it to look natural because I have like so many items. Like I don't, attach CDs to my wall. I don't have like all her like posters. I don't have Christina dolls just like hanging around my house. Very minimalistic. I'm very
Oh,
modern.
good.
So,
People
yeah,
would
it was
never
a little.
know that you're a hoarder.
Yeah, people never know. But anyways, so we're in these like tight corners, and they're doing their best to like navigate the space. And the boom guy that has like the stick that like has like the mic on
Yeah.
it and stuff, he's like swivels his thing and knocks all of my Christina stuff off, and he like broke like two or three things
Oh my
like in the
gosh.
shooting. Yeah, just like completely like I was and never like they never paid for it or anything like that.
They did
So
not?
no, I got paid for like shooting with them.
Okay.
Because it was like
But
a
not
3 day
replacing
thing,
this.
but not replacing. And he said like he would, but I was just like, yeah, it's whatever. It's yeah. Like I don't know. Like I got annoyed because like one of the things that had like fallen off was like this really weird, and I don't know if it was like I think it's Korean, but it's like a bar of soap that is like they promoted for like the Back to Basics tour, and like it's like wrapped in like a Back to Basics thing, and all it is a bar of soap. I don't know why they chose to. I don't know if she that was like a sponsor of the show in that particular country. I don't know, but like I have it. I've never seen it available on sale for anyone else, but that's one of the things that fell, and like the soap snapped, and I was like. Made me so mad because that's going to be one of those items that like in like 10 years from now people are going to be like, oh my gosh. Like for me, I'm a really big Madonna fan, and
I see.
I look, yeah, I love Madonna too. But like I'll look back and like she just did things for the gay community that were so off of the radar at the time when like gay people were like exodus, like AIDS carrying, like abominations. Like for the Blonde Ambition tour, which was like 88, 89, she did condoms and like
Oh
handed them
wow.
out, and they had like little like sayings on it, like express yourself was like the single, and she like, I don't know, she like did stuff like that, but like people still have like those like condoms, like, in their collections. And I just think like that is such a shtick, like nichey thing. Like they're not on sale. You only get it for attending the event.
Yeah.
And like, what are the odds that somebody has like a condom from Madonna's show in like 1988? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
right. So I just think of like that as being like one of those items that like, and 10, 20 years from now, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, I wish I was able to attend the Back to Basics show. And he's got a bar of soap from it. Yeah.
That would also just like random, but like it would have been cool. Cause remember she did that, Christina did the LA Pride.
Yes.
It would have been cute if she'd
I,
done like condoms or even because she had
she
a
did.
popper's swimsuit. Oh, she did?
She did. Yeah. She did this one here.
Oh,
So it's Let's Get Dirty. And it's like, yeah, it's like an actual condom. I didn't go to the LA shows, but my
oh,
friend got me one. And here's actually the bar of soap. So I keep these items in my drawer in my bedroom because if I store them away, I'm afraid that like the heat would like
oh,
compromise
yeah.
them. But this is the bar of soap I was just talking about.
Oh my
And it's
gosh.
broke, but isn't it so cool? I don't know if that's Korean or Japanese. I don't know. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like really cool. And like the bar of soap like has like "Ain't No Other Man" like printed on it.
Oh,
So yeah,
cool.
it's
And
just
random.
I saw it in there when I didn't realize it was there. I just saw it in there when I was grabbing the condom. So. But yeah, so it's just like those like items get me the most excited because they're not available to purchase, right? So
Right.
those are like things that you have to like be in that moment to like capture that. And so I thrive on giving those things. Like this too. This Gilbert, when she did like her experience show,
Yeah.
if you were like in the front and you were
The
like kind of
candy.
really,
It's the candy.
yeah, yeah, I got one. Gilbert
Did
gave
you?
it to me. Yeah, he gave it to
Oh my-
me, and I never opened it. But this was another one. I have a second one. This was another one of the items that they knocked off, and it broke the sucker. And that's in
Really?
that. Yeah, I have it too. But yeah, it was disappointing. I went and seen it 2 times, and I got to be like the candy man, like both nights. So
Jealous.
yeah, it was so nice. Yeah, no, I mean they handed out multiple like
Oh yeah,
suckers.
yeah.
I don't know like how many like each show, but each night I got one. So it was nice. The second one was handed to me by Sarah, I believe. Yeah, it was nice though. Good
Yeah.
memories. But yeah, yeah. So that was like so annoying to me that like they also they did like a scene where they were like filming at like my front door. And the guy, he had like kind of like I don't know if you've seen him, but they're kind of like almost like backpacks, and they
Hmm.
go like up and above them, and then it holds the camera in
Oh,
place.
like a gimbal.
So the yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So he was like using that to like film, and he was doing this like shot where like he was like coming back and like going towards my front door, and I had like a Palo Verde plant, and he like ripped it out of its root. He like stumbled over it and like ripped it out of its root, and like I didn't realize that he had damaged it until I went back and reviewed my Ring camera footage. I was like, he did it. I thought it was one
Oh
of the
my
neighborhood
gosh.
kids or something, but yeah, it kind of destroyed some of my landscape. So yeah, it was fun. Would I do it again? Probably not. I kind of thought it was like a once in a lifetime type of thing. I was also struggling with like how to like film my collection and like really like put it out. I knew I wanted to share it with like the community. I didn't have like the proper platform myself to do it. So I
Yeah.
thought, oh, MTV would be able to do it. And yeah, they did a great job. It was a great experience. I just probably would never do it again. It was just a lot of work, way more than I would ever care to do ever again. I think just like putting stuff away, and I do it by era. So like if someone like
Oh,
wants to see something specifically, I know what box it's in. And so it's just, yeah, it was a lot of work. It
oh, so
sucked.
she's organized too.
Shit. Yeah.
Good. Oh my gosh, that'd be like a mess if it was just like everywhere.
But yeah, yeah, it was good. And like, they came through, they had like ideas about stuff. They wanted to change stuff around and like, for purposes of like lighting and stuff. But like I knew enough to like I went through like my whole house and changed all like the light bulbs. So like they
Mhm.
were all like the same.
Consistent.
Yeah, so they were like consistent, and like the lighting guy was like, "I appreciate you for doing that."
Yeah, it's so
he,
nice.
yeah, he was telling me he's like some of the places that we shot in were just like, I mean, one girl, I don't know if you watched like the other episodes in like that series, but like one of the girls, I think she had like an NSYNC collection, and hers was like outside, and I just remember the director was telling me like on one of the breaks, he was telling me he was like, "Oh my gosh, like we were outside filming, and it was like Texas heat." He was just
Mm.
like, it was just, yeah, it was not great. So, but yeah, so it was fun. It was definitely like a moment that, I think was really special to me and allowed me to really showcase a lot of my pieces.
What are you gonna do with it going forward besides like keeping it for yourself, but also for like so it's not
Yeah,
just collecting dust?
I don't know. I know I want to like purchase a bigger home eventually. I don't know that if I want to stay in Arizona forever either. I kind of miss seeing like seasons. So one of the things that I miss about being in Michigan is like in Michigan they have like every house has like a basement, and it would
Hmm.
be nice to like purchase a home and like have like a kind of almost like a museum set up in my
Yeah.
basement. It would be multi-purpose, right? Like I would probably have probably my office would be down there too. But it would be nice to like showcase it properly. It's just in the home that I'm in currently, I don't have the space to like showcase it. So I don't think I'll ever part from my collection. I think I'll have it pretty much for my whole life. I don't see myself ever selling anything. Or maybe I will. Maybe I'll downsize some of it. I don't know. But the future, definitely it's in my goals to be able to showcase it a little bit better than what I'm doing right now. Just because, yeah, it is what it is. But so many people like reached out to me and were like, "Is it all out like that all the time?" And I'm like, "No, it's like never out. No way."
So then, do you have each one of the fragrances? I think I saw you right. You had
Yeah.
all of them.
Yes, I
Which one
have
is your
all of
favorite?
them. So my favorite fragrance, actually, this is a little controversial. My
Oh,
favorite one is probably her Exposed line, which was like a
oh,
really small, like four fragrance line that she did in like 2004. Which I have those bottles. Those are probably my favorite. They're almost impossible to find. But then from like her signature line, they all kind of smell relatively similar. But I really
oh.
enjoyed Royal Desire. It
Mhm.
was a really nice, like powdery, and it was a really like sweet smelling fragrance. And then I really liked Violet Noir, which was a little bit of
Okay.
a surprise. It's a bit of a departure from like some of the other fragrances that she had because it had like grape notes in it, and it smelled really fruity, but it's still like sophisticated. So like unlike some of like the other girlies like Sabrina Carpenter, I don't know if you've ever smelled hers, and like even Ariana
Mm-mm.
Grande, Britney Spears, certainly, Fantasy is so candy smelling. It's so sweet. It's like
Okay.
it will almost give you diabetes. You know, very marketed towards a young girl. Christina's has those elements where it's like very commercially appealing, but also they're kind of sophisticated as well. So I used to sell fragrances at Macy's. So like I know a lot about like top notes and like, you know, when they burn off, like that warm like heart of the fragrance. And so like I'm passionate about that too. In fact, when I worked at Macy's, I leaned into like the merchandising side and she did that fragrance that was like sold exclusively at Macy's. I have all of the set stuff for it in my
Oh,
collection.
really?
So I have like, yeah, they do like what's called like a lookbook, which like for the merchandising team, it kind of explains to them like how to showcase it, like what the demos look like, what the promotional items, how they should look when they're on the shelf, how to like stack the bottles. And so I have that. I have some of the displays. I have like the little plastic piece that has like a mirror behind it that like showcases like the bottle.
Hmm.
I've got that. I've got like a lot of like the VIP passes for it because I literally got a job at Macy's knowing
For
that
that?
that fragrance was launched. Yes, for that specifically. So I could take all the promotional posters and stuff when I left, which is super illegal. You're
Oh
not
my
allowed to do
God.
that. But I did it. You know, what's a few nights in jail when it comes to a Christina Aguilera poster?
Oh my
You
gosh.
know, just but yeah, so yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's like that's kind of like some like nichey stuff. I really like Violet Noir and Royal Desire, are probably my favorites.
Have you purchased anything from Playground?
Yes, I've
What?
purchased
Really?
everything. Yeah,
Oh my
I've purchased
gosh.
everything. I am here to support her, and again, that is sitting on my nightstand, but I have like a little like thing. I've got all of them. My favorite one is there's like a tropical lube that she has. It smells so amazing. It's definitely my favorite. But yeah, I definitely do. Yeah, I'm fully supportive of my girl. Like I'm telling you, if she puts it out and her name's on it, I'm buying it. Like,
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't care what it is.
That was something I put in a previous episode that I was going to like do a YouTube not tutorial, but a YouTube review. So I'm
Loaded
gonna
to
have to find
OnlyFans
somebody.
only.
Yes. I'm gonna have to find somebody to help me review this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I have those. The only thing I don't have is she just did like a rose water of like
mhm,
some sort. I haven't purchased that yet, but like of the lubes, I've got all of them. She like the
okay.
initial like I think there were initially like four of them,
Uh-huh.
and then they expanded the line to like bring on like three or four additional ones. I've literally got them all.
Dang.
I purchase them like when they come out. So yeah.
And I guess we'll close this episode out with some quick round questions. What is your favorite single of hers? No, favorite lead single.
Favorite lead single? That's really tricky. I'm gonna say Dirty is probably my
Yeah.
favorite lead single. I just think that it did things for her in her career and that like no other single did for her. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, Genie in a Bottle was pretty miraculous. It skyrocketed her to like superstardom overnight. So like there's something to be said about that, but then I think the fact that it was so commercially successful and so like not Christina, I wouldn't put that up front. But you know, Dirty was also super rejected, right? Like she had so many people telling her that she was nasty for releasing it. She had sold out, you know, and you know, I don't know. I think it resonates a lot with me, right? Like at the time that it was released, you know, I was like going through like coming out of myself, and I felt really rejected as well. And so, like to stand in your truth when there are so many people pointing a finger at you in judgment, I think there's something incredibly powerful about that. And I don't think that there's another single in Christina's arsenal that like matches that energy. So Dirty, because Dirty is like it's a middle finger to like conformity. So
Totally.
yeah.
Like after that, it's like every lead single since that, I'm like expecting that kind of like impact. But of course, it's like
Yes.
impossible to
Yeah.
replicate.
Oh, impossible. Yeah. It was a moment in time.
Hmm.
Christina like released it right at the right moment. And yeah, she was, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that happened on that album that like people just don't give her credit for. You know, she was like the first like pop singer from our generation that embraced the LGBT community directly. You know, there's always implied stuff by like having like gay dancers and stuff like that, but like Christina like left no gray area. She was very like direct
Hmm.
with her stance, and that was always important. And after Christina opened that door, then like all the other girlies followed in line. It was
Yeah.
really, you know, Christina was the first one in our generation. Obviously
Yes.
Madonna did it before, but
Janet. Yeah.
yeah, she was the first one to come out and be like, I'm cool with this. So yeah, great single,
Yes.
great single.
What is your favorite album?
Favorite album? Man, it's weird because it changes from day to day, and I try not to let like the politics influence me. Let the music speak for itself.
Yeah.
I would also have to say Strip though. It's
Okay.
definitely the one I've connected most with
Yeah,
growing up. It's timeless to me. I go
it
back and I
is.
listen to it. You know, if I'm having a bad day, I'll turn on that album and it just kind of brightens my day around. And so it just the storytelling in it, you know, it's a masterpiece. So definitely my favorite album.
And it's so eclectic. It's like a mood ring. It has like everything
Yeah.
for any particular like mood you're going through. So that's
Yes.
really good.
Yes. Thank you
Yeah.
for pointing that out. Like also just like the way she like put it together. Like, you know, coming out
Hmm.
of a song like, Walk Away, like for example, right?
Yes.
Like you get that like, she's screaming out, she's like on her knees, she's abused, she's beaten, she knows she has to leave the situation but can't figure out how to get there. And
Right.
then from that song like ending in like that haunting vamp that it does, and then like you hear that like beat of like Fighter, where
It's a
it's just
great
like
segue.
that switch comes on, and yeah, and it's just like okay, now I'm on the other side of that,
Yeah.
and and like even Fighter, it's not a revenge song. I think a lot of people don't listen to the lyrical content and like appreciate it for what it is. She's accepted the trauma, she's
Hmm.
accepted like what has happened, and she's thankful for it, and she's kind of like past that numb period, past the revenge stage, and she's like fully like this is like my appreciation for the things that you've done to me. And I just think that's so powerful too. That's really the
Totally.
part of the grieving stages that we all aim to get to, but elude us so many times. So it's, that acceptance, and I
Yeah.
love it. It's the end of the rainbow.
Totally. Yeah. What is your favorite song that Christina is featured on?
Ooh, ooh, that's such a good question. My goodness. Would you kill me if I said tell me with all the
No.
recent events that's happened? No, I'm just joking.
I feel so good because it's like I have the vinyl right here. I just happened to like
I
find it.
know. I love it.
But
Me too. Like, and I have it too. I'm like, I'm still gonna
really?
listen to that song. I
Oh,
love it. I
wow.
have the single, and then he released the album like on LP, like
Yeah.
before like all that stuff, and I purchased it too. I would say featured on is probably just off the top of my head. I'm gonna kind of go left with this and say she did a song with Herbie Hancock
Hmm.
that was really low key,
Yeah.
which was like a remake, and it's singing a
A
song
song
for
for you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So good.
vocally, just like oh my god, are you kidding me? Like she did a couple live performances of it. The one that stands out in my mind is the one from Ellen's show, and it's just vocally, aesthetically, back to that jazz thing, right? That we were talking about
Yes.
earlier. Just amazing. Yeah, so I would have to say
Yes.
a song for
Oh,
you.
you're right. So good. Subjective. But what is a forgotten fave?
A forgotten fave.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, there's so many. I will say on her first album, I definitely loved When You Put Your Hands on Me. Just
Okay.
there's something like that. And like at the end there's like this like share moment where they put that like auto tune on her and she goes like
Yes.
I love that. It's like so quintessential that moment in music. I would say in Mi Reflejo, probably like El Beso de Final. There's something
Okay.
about like those runs like at the end that I just think is so beautiful. With Stripped, it would be Soar, I would
Oh,
think. Soar is just such a beautiful song. Yeah, I mean there's so many. Like Christina's like whole career is like kind of showcased in these like lead singles, and she's got so many like deep cuts that are so good.
gems.
Yeah.
Yes. Because of course I'm always gonna go to like right now I think of either well I already said pipe on the Mackenzie
Oh,
episode. This was coming out afterwards, so I could say pipe.
okay.
But like deserve and
Dying to watch
twice.
that. Yes,
They're just
Twice.
so
Oh my
good.
gosh, Twice was so good. Yeah.
And
Twice
then
like took
live,
me
and then
to
she's like
church.
in that like deeper like tone. She loved that.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh,
that's great.
live, right? Christina's like one of
Yeah,
those artists that like remarkably sounds better live than she does on the record, and that's very
totally.
rare. And
Yeah,
yeah, I love that about her. I get excited when I see her live. It's Mike's always on,
always.
always on.
Yes. If people are obsessed with you, which I'm sure they will be, where can they find you?
So my personal page on Instagram, I kind of shifted away from Twitter or X or whatever it's called now for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. But my Instagram is where I'm most live on. They can find my personal page at Dirty Cory, like the song DIRRTY, Cory.com, or my fan page, which showcases my collections at the Aguilera Archive. The Aguilera Archive. That's where you
Yay.
can find my collection page.
So everybody go follow him.
Yeah, gosh. They're gonna be like, oh my god, he's so boring. He just like watches
No.
movies. But yeah.
Well, and then it would be great also because, like, do you show each piece of your
I,
like collection
yeah, I'm
on your?
pretty detailed with like my
Okay.
collection. It was like showcase and like I broke it down because I've like put every piece already out there. I just kind of
Mhm.
update it with like new things that I've gotten, photos and stuff. So yeah, it's where I interact mostly with all the other xtina fans. So through that site.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for being on this episode.
Yeah, thank you, Kristen. I big fan. I've been listening to it since the beginning, and I love what you're doing. Keep it up, and yeah, I'm very honored to be in your presence, and I appreciate you giving me this platform.
No, it's so great to like meet because I talked about it with everybody, like Jake, Mackenzie, you. It's so cool to like because it is like a community, and
Mm.
so it's so cool to like find like engage with other people who are just as like passionate and know
Yeah,
all these random like things about Christina.
yeah. I loved like specifically the Dallas Austin episode. Somebody had mentioned it. I don't remember who, but they're like, it's been scrubbed from the internet. It 100% has been scrubbed from the internet,
Yes.
and I think that was like Christina's legal team. But like, yeah, those are like memories that like I totally forgot about, and so
Yes.
like listening to it, re jogs my memory, takes me back to that place in time, and I love that. It's like you're living
Oh,
your pop culture moments through a one
okay, good.
podcast at a time.
Yeah. Okay. So I did post that, and then somebody on Twitter, actually, two people on Twitter, were kind of like opposed to it.
Mhm.
And like the information is online, like the video has
Yeah.
been scrubbed, but the articles are on there. So I was like, wait, did I go too far with, because they were
No,
like, okay. I was like, it's
It-
available. I
it's
just put it in a video.
it is what it is. It's the ugly
Yeah.
truth. It's 100% what happened. I remember being mortified, like when
Yes.
his statements came out. Perez Hilton was huge at that moment, and he, of course, posted it all over his site. And I remember Christina came out very like strong, and she threw legal stuff at him. He had to retract his statements.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it was a lie. Like Christina was like, it doesn't even make sense because she was like so big at that moment. She
Yeah.
doesn't need to do that. Like she
No.
wasn't a Jawstone. Not to
No
throw that
offense,
girl
Joss.
under. I would have believed it a little bit more if it was Jawstone. Like no, like shade. But like Christina was like people would die, would break their legs to like
To
work with
like work with
Christina
her.
Aguilera. Yeah,
Yes.
she did not need him. And the thing is like Dallas Austin is like he specializes like Scott Storch in that
Yes.
R&B sound that unfortunately was dying at that time. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like R&B died off. Like the people who were able to survive after the 2000s with R&B music only did it because they changed their sound. Like Usher, he did like that, oh
Oh
my
yeah.
god,
With that electric,
yeah.
electronic.
They had to pivot the sound because the music just became not popular. I love it. I love R&B music. It will
Yes.
always be a part of me, but it died like disco. It had a dormant era, and that was his genre. So you wish, boy, you wish that Christina would have picked your ass up.
He's just bitter. He's just bitter.
Yeah. Bye,
All right.
deuces.
Bye.
But
Thank
it
you.
was so much fun. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
of course.